Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review where we have arrived at the final review of the winter 2016 season. And the last anime that I need to review is Dagashi Kashi, an anime that centers around sweets and candy. The story of Dagashi Kashi centers around a boy named Kokonotsu Shikada, whose dad owns a candy shop. Despite his father's begging, Kokonotsu has no interest in succeeding his father since he wants to become a manga artist. One day, however, Kokonotsu gets a visit from a strange girl named Hotaru Shidare. She is the daughter of a candy tycoon and she wants to hire Kokonotsu's father. The problem here is that he only wants to do that when Kokonotsu takes over the shop, so Hotaru tries to convince Kokonotsu in her own weird way. The main premise of Dagashi Kashi is also my main positive point, which is that this anime gave us an introduction to Japanese candy. Each episode revolves around a few candies that are typical for Japan. This was then a double hit for this anime. The Japanese viewers probably got a good trip down nostalgia lane from seeing all those sweets that they probably ate when they were children. And the Western viewers like me, who know none of these typical candies, got a nice overview of the creativity that the Japanese people put in some of their products. We all know that Japan can be very creative when it comes to merchandise. Sometimes that also goes a bit too far, but Dagashi Kashi didn't go that far, luckily. And I think that some Western viewers now feel bad for not living in Japan to try those sweets. And related to the previous point comes the following. Dagashi Kashi was a very calm anime that didn't use flashy action or big spectacular events to interest its viewers. On the contrary, nothing really exciting happens in this anime. And that's what gave this anime its nostalgic feel. The setting in a quiet, rural village definitely also played into this. This is an anime that you end your day with after you've maybe seen another very spectacular and heart-racing anime that hyped you completely up. In that case, Dagashi Kashi will put your mind at ease so that you can actually sleep at night. And that's about everything really positive that I want to say about Dagashi Kashi. Now, it isn't because I don't have a lot of positive points that this was a bad anime. I just didn't find a lot of special positive points to talk about. My first negative point is the goddamned open ending of Dagashi Kashi. If it had stayed an episodical anime like it was most of the time, I wouldn't have had this problem. Now, I know that in some of my reviews I talk about me having a problem with animes without a main storyline. Now, if an anime is completely episodical without any sign of a main storyline, I don't have this problem. Animes like Sakamoto Desuga and Flying Witch, which I'm both watching this season, don't have a main storyline, and therefore I also don't have a problem with it. Now in Dagashi Kashi there is a main storyline, being Hotaru who tries to convince Kokonotsu to take over his father's shop. And it isn't resolved at the end of the anime. If you use a main storyline, please finish it. Now I need a second season of Dagashi Kashi to see how it ends. And in this anime, we don't get one open ending, but two. Also on the romance platform I was left with empty hands. I was really hoping for a relationship between Kokonotsu and Saya. By the way, Saya best girl, just saying. There are some episodes where we get some development between them, and those were also, in my eyes, the best episodes of the entire anime. Because most of the episodes were based completely on comedy. Not that that's bad, but the slapstick genre of comedy that Dagashi Kashi used wasn't really my favorite. It also wasn't bad, but I like other kinds of comedy more. That's probably also related to the fact that I don't know any of the sweets that were featured in Dagashi Kashi. Because of that, I think that I missed quite some puns and jokes in this anime. And a last negative point was one of the characters, being To, Saya's brother. I had serious questions about his intellect. Now I presume that he was created as a silly, slightly dumb character to serve as comical relief for the Gashi Kashi. And as I said before, the comedy wasn't my taste. And Hotaru's character also wasn't completely original. She reminded me a lot of Anna from Shimoneta, both when it came to personality and appearance. So as a conclusion, this was a shorter review than normal, because I just didn't have a lot to say about Dagashi Kashi. In my winter 2016 update video, I said that I was slightly worried about the comedy being too silly for me. Eventually, the comedy did become a bit too silly for me, but it was still acceptable. It wasn't that I was cringing at certain points because of the comedy annoying me. So Dagashi Kashi was an okay anime. It isn't one that I will remember for a long time unless it gets a second season. And that's why I'm going to rate Dagashi Kashi at 3 out of 5 stars. If you're a fan of slice of life / silly comedy animes, then Dagashi Kashi is definitely an anime you should check out. And if you watched Dagashi Kashi already, I'm recommending 2 animes that are currently airing. The first one being Sakamoto Desuga. This anime follows the same concept as Dagashi Kashi, being an episodical anime where each episode consists of several short storylines. If it was the calm atmosphere that made you like Dagashi Kashi, you should definitely watch Flying Witch. This is calmness and relaxation poured into an anime. I'm really enjoying it, and so could you if you like slow and calm animes. And with that, I conclude my review of Dagashi Kashi. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now, if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put them in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.